Welcome back to the Acer Team Story Cup. A best of 9 between these two teams, but a best of 1 between these two players. And I cannot emphasize how critically important the win is today for Axiom. This determines whether they can possibly even be in the playoffs or not this season, guys. So if you're an Axiom fan, you better root hard. Spawning in the top left corner of the map, one of their baddest asses, it is the Blue Zerg player, Impact.
In the bottom left, as the red Protoss, it is Mouse HasuObs.
HasuObs has been kind of a weird guy to follow in StarCraft 2. He's consistently not bad. I don't know if I would say he's consistently good or not, because like there's sometimes you watch him, you're like, this will be an easy one for HasuObs, and then he'll take like a big nosedive. But for the most part, in the Acer Team Story Cup specifically, he has been getting good results. He's been knocking out the weird players who've been taking his teammates down, and quite frankly, not to disrespect anyone involved with Mousesports, but it's been HasuObs, Hero Marine, and Starbuck we've really seen just kicking ass and taking names when it comes to mouse games.
Was he the one that took him down last time? No, it was another Protoss. He lost the first game and then ended up taking it in the ace match. It was pretty sick. That's all I remember. And that was a Protoss. But now I've completely forgotten who it actually was. Either way.
Drone Scout coming across the map will miss his target, but with the Overlord going the wrong way as well, he'll be able to confirm in a moment's time. The thing is, though, on this map, I mean, as we see, both players just played a little bit greedy with their openings, rightfully so, kind of encouraged by the map itself. So easy to defend thanks to this nice little ramp here, but I mean, Protoss on 3 bases, Zerg on 5, we've seen it so classically happen on this map. The thing that makes this so interestingly weird is, like, do you remember the days of Derelict where every Protoss player is complaining like, oh, the areas are so large, where are you supposed to force field? You know, that comes into a little bit of effect on Ultrazine, but at the same time for Zerg players, you don't quite have that same creep spread, like, dominance. It's a lot harder to pick your engagements because it's so big. It's a lot easier for Protoss players to dodge you or force a fight elsewhere. So, I mean, one look at this map, typically you say, like, this is a great map for Zerg ground engagements. But then everyone goes Mutalisks because they're just so much better to maneuver with.
It also really comes down to the fact that that third is so easy to get, so they don't feel pressure to do anything off 2 bases to get the third, where you would need force fields out in the map. As long as you have some sort of SimCity and you stay back, you can use the terrain around your base as still as pretty good force fields. Moving out as a 2 base all in, I mean, there's a reason I don't see it in the first place on this map to begin with. You know, less so about force fields just because there's so much opportunity for you to be scouted on your way over with your proxy pylon and your probe, but definitely with sentries as well.
Yeah, the thing too is, like, in the back of my mind, every time we talk about things being safe and whatever, I think you were casting with me when Violet got like 4-gated on this map.
Well, that's something we have seen a few times. I don't know if I was casting with Violet, but at least a couple of Protosses have done 4 gates. They've done like 1 base, like Oracle builds into like 3 gate or whatever. It's just, you know, it's kind of like the whole, oh, you're supposed to play greedy on this map and you do a 1 base, which is something that no one ever does in the first place, especially on such a big map.
Right, it's almost this weird, not really metagaming, but like just counter logic type move. But this drone actually getting a lot of scouting information, goes through the extractor, build, cancel thing, whatever you want to call it. But this is weird to consider that this will continue to scout for a little bit, even with the Mothership Core above it. I think it's got just enough speed to actually get away from it. I'm actually not too sure.
Don't know. Might let it finish. Just to be obnoxious.
Yeah, I was actually thinking for a second that was like completely 30 out of 30 for a second.
Pretty good like that. Of course, if you can continue to just, you know, if you can build cancel enough times because they don't want to get another unit out except the militia core that you can get a scout in at like 7 minutes, then that's like a free scout. You know, no need to use an overlord, but it's so unlikely that eventually I think he'll just let it finish.
Right? It seems like a weird waste of gas, but... Stop! If he would move the probes a little bit closer, it would actually prevent it from building in the first place. Just worth noting.
Oh, yeah. You guys don't know that trick. Is actually, you can put it really close to the gas geyser and they can't build on it.
Yeah. Okay, well, the Stargate decomplete. Did he actually see that with the drone or not? So he was so obsessed with the cancel. No, he didn't see the Stargate. So the Oracle's going to be a little bit unexpected, but You know what? Again, HasuObs, if you guys haven't seen HasuObs play in the Eastern Team Story Cup, I don't know how. He's like the one Protoss player who goes Oracle and actually gets good use out of it. Every other Protoss player I've seen, Korea, North American, European, they go for this Oracle, and I think the idea is like, this can be a good unit, and then it never ends up being. But HasuObs is the guy who gets like 20 kills on this, not through one pass, but through like 17 throughout the course of the rest of the game. And Revelation tags, worker kills, the Oracle's got the potential to be such a good unit, but oftentimes ends up getting, just through lack of control, killed off really early.
The Oracle is less so about getting, you know, the drone snipes, although if it is unscouted, it could get a lot of drones, just certainly beneficial. More so about the, oh, actually there's an emergency spore there anyways, but about the scouting, you know, if you don't let it die, you get the revelation, you get the good scout in the main, if you can sail past all the queens, and then your follow-up is pretty safe. Well, he loses it.
Ouch.
And take oh well. But if it had survived, it would have been really good scouting, would have told him exactly what's going on, what's coming towards him, would have been super useful. He's trying to get this early third, and by getting the Void Ray after it, you're pretty safe until they get Hydralisk, so any roach attack, you know, it's, I mean, it could still cancel the third, but...
Well, I mean, even if it doesn't deal bonus damage versus Lings, even Lings go down pretty quickly. They just don't have a lot of HP in general, and that cannon's going to complete the Mothership cores here. A couple force fields are available. Impact's not really going to be able to punish this. It does need a force field to ramp, though. Whew. A little bit close, a little bit scary. Nice catch, though, with that net. Oh, this is one of the sentries.
Yeah, not the best force fields. I mean, technically, he could have, you know, holed himself in the corner and instead lost both sentries and let them through.
Going for the pylon, an interesting move. This is powering 2 critical structures, but honestly, might be better off just going for probe kills. I think he recognizes this too, so HasuObs going to stack these up. Overcharge actually gets forced.
I really like the overcharge because they.
But more Lings get into the main at the same time. There's another overcharge.
He can't use another one. He did use his other one.
Yeah.
So the frontal attack with Hydralisk will have no Photon overcharge to help.
That's actually going to really hurt the third base pretty bad.
Yeah.
But this was going to necessary at the same time. He didn't have that warp in. He didn't have the pylon down. Double Stargates behind this?
So 3A? This is old. I mean, sometimes we saw 2 Stargates immediately, and we would see them pump out Void Rays, but
right,
I mean, that's a lot.
This didn't come down in Vision, but we do have an Infestation Pit on the way. Whoa, that's a misbuild right there. But one thing that's really important is you can go for Pathogen Glands, which are going to be fantastic for shutting down Void Rays.
Yeah. If Void Rays get into a big enough number because they have good force fields against this type of attack, then you need Fungals. But if they have a limited number of force fields and you have just enough Hydralisk, this army doesn't really hold up that well.
Chipping away here at the base. There's that cannon still strong, but these Hydras are kind of in this sweet spot. Void Rays don't have a lot of range, and there is no Groove Spine upgrade, but Muscular Augments allows these maneuver and quite a bit better. Cannon falls, Mothership Core may go down as well. Surprised he's not focusing that actually, but yeah. Void Ray is also going to get picked off here. I mean, he's going to lose everything on this side of the map, but that's kind of okay for Impact. He's done a lot of damage with this attack. It's not even over yet.
Yeah. He hasn't taken a force, so we had to dedicate something to this attack, and
oh my God.
Didn't kill the third.
You know, there's not a lot of workers killed so far this game, but look at the worker count.
Well, he has no...
Well,
yeah.
I mean, 71 to 48. A big part of this is HasuObs may have had the third base down, but he's not exactly been able to happily probe behind this, not oversaturating elsewhere. And he's actually locked himself into his main, so this the probe transfer is trying to get out. We do see them buggy on the cliff.
Yeah.
Impact sending another wave of Lings across the map. This actually works out pretty well because A, he knows the Mothership Core went down, so no overcharge. But beyond that, he actually picked off the cannon, which is kind of the biggest deterrent. Now, there are Void Rays, there are Sentries still, but there's not nearly enough force fields to stop this outright. And the Void Ray DPS, well, good. Again, it's one of those things that'll take time to clean this up.
Again, distracting on the right while trying to go into the left. Doesn't quite work out as force fields do go down, but it's 2 force fields used here as opposed to on, protecting his probes.
Yeah. Impact is a really great harass off. Again, this is for pretty... I mean, he's coming out resources lost, but what he's throwing away is more affordable than what HasuObs is throwing away. Again, 71 workers, mostly just Lings. The Hydras were a little bit costly, but I think, honestly, with the amount of Void Rays and the Mothership Core going down, they kind of trade out cost effectively in the end.
He's choosing to get Vipers, which is interesting. I mean, it's been so long since we saw someone go for a mass air army from the beginning. I mean, eventually we see, especially in Swarm Host games, but from the beginning it's just gotten so, risky that no one really does it anymore. But Vipers can be a really good choice if Phoenixes were on the way. If Phoenixes being on the way, this might not work out as well if it was just Colossus and Void Rays.
Okay, well, it is some Phoenixes coming out, but again, that triple Stargate production for me, I'm just kind of sitting here like, you know, he's got the 3 base saturation. That's the economy to go for like 3 Void Rays at a time if he wants type thing. But I don't know. It's just such an odd choice.
Yeah, it is, because I don't think he can't afford it, especially with all the harass going on.
Right, it's more of like a late game move. You don't open 3 Stargates a lot. I guess maybe if Ruff was Protoss, you'd see this more often, but yeah, HasuObs gonna have trouble dealing with this. The thing is, the Phoenixes, you know, there's always the talk about the Graviton beams, but there's not nearly enough Phoenix here to really make that a threat.
He might have been a little scared of a Muta switch. That's why you got the Phoenixes to begin with. They're helping out a little bit against the Vipers if they could get a sweet spot, but not enough. Vipers are still going to go in and pull a lot of stuff to the Hydralisk.
I like the Ultras coming up behind it. It's a little bit weird because there are Void Rays in play, but the thing is, I think a lot of the Void Rays are going to go down in this attack. Abducts one of the Colossus forward, focuses it down, does Impact, and that's pretty much just Void Rays remaining. He abducts one of the Hallucinate Colossus, funny enough, but Impact's actually, I think, wasting a bit of time here with these Roaches on the left. He's starting to bleed out the units at that third. The Photon Overcharge is holding really nicely, and yeah, there we go. Starts to disengage, sends some Roaches over here to the mineral line, and he'll certainly pick off quite a few probes. But let's not forget, with Void Rays popping out, these Roaches have a fairly limited lifespan.
Well, that Colossus shouldn't be the sole defense. He could snipe that if he was paying attention, or at least get it really low. The Voiders also come back, so he attacks the front again with a couple of Hydralisks. It's just the probe kills. I mean, he's not going to type the Nexus, but the probes are fine.
The thing is, though, like, he's been low on probes to begin with. He's been bleeding them out slowly over the course of the game. I mean, normally a couple probes killed here and there are not that big of a deal, but it's constantly a couple of probes at every base, at every attack.
Is it worth it, though? Impact has been throwing away a lot of armies, and after that initial attack, he really hasn't done a lot to the Void Ray army. I mean, he's killed the Colossus, which is good, but well, 28 more Hydralisks could just be exactly what he needs. I mean, Fungal's...
Oh! Flying V!
Too.
Mighty Ducks! Huh. Quack! 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 Okay, whatever. But, you know, like, the thing is, too, well, Ultras are coming out, we're gonna have Chitinous Plating. These are all really cool conceptual things, but I don't know why I said that so weird. I sit here like yearning, like, where's the fungal growths? It's so weird to say, guys, but the biggest thing that's been keeping a lot of these Void Rays alive for HasuObs is he's been kind of keeping them back. He's been backing them away when they get low, fighting over top of cannons, moving on top of the cliff, abusing the terrain to really allow these to survive. And if they're locked in place, they're going to get shredded to bits by Hydralisks.
Well, he's completely maxed out against HasuObs 135. 20 that is in workers, though. Can HasuObs hold again against some just mass Hydralisk?
Well, there's Queens and Roaches as well. I mean, this is going to be the definition of brute force.
Some Roaches, yeah.
How many Colossus is going to be the big question? 2. Soon to be 3. He's going to need to get some pretty nice abducts. He's only got 1 Viper. I guess feedback right away.
Impact can't really push in. He needs to still have that concave, but eventually HasuObs has to push out to him. So that's really what Impact should probably wait for, as opposed to keep pushing in here. Yeah,
I kind of wish Impact would have taken the high ground there against him, but he's just kind of attacking everything right now. His army does seem a little discombobulated, but he is starting to weed out some of the Void Rays. Mothership Core goes down as well, so no Time Warps to worry about, which is usually the most dangerous thing. But all of HasuObs' units, like, they're in the yellow, they're in the red, they're starting to get so low, so incredibly scary. He's running out of terrain to abuse, which is why the Void Rays are finally starting to go down. And guys, if you think Queens aren't going to stand a chance against Void Rays, you're wrong. Queens are actually better at countering Void Rays than Hydralisks are.
Yeah, and if they keep on reaching the Colossus. The Colossus do not have extended thermal lance. It's just about to finish.
Oh my god, I didn't even realize that was the case this whole game. No wonder they've been getting taken out. Another Colossus falls. 2 Void Rays are all he really has left to defend. Third base is slowly but surely going to go down. And Impact, where's the remax on units, man? He's got 5k in the bank, 2k in the gas. Is that just going to be for Ultras?
Well, maybe. That might be what he's waiting for, but he did that last time as well.
Nope,
he waited a long time and got 28.
42 Hydralisks.
Yeah, this time 42 Hydralisks. So sometimes those attacks, you're like, does it really working? Because suddenly the bank is that low, but Impact has consistently had a really huge bank, and he's on 5 bases. You know,
this is not only the answer to the game, but life, the universe, and everything. 42 guys on the way with 8 Roaches to pair with it. Level 2 armor upgrades as well. This game is looking fantastic for Impact. And HasuObs, granted, he's been holding like crazy in these like impossible situations, but it's always been with an overabundance of like Void Rays. Now, for the first time, Impact's going to be coming in, and there's a moderate amount of Void Rays at best, and 2 of them are like sneezes from dying.
1 backache from dying. I don't think he can hold on to this one. I mean, it's so good of him to hold on for so long against a relentless Impact, but it's just not. It's consistently not enough to have an army that pushes out. You know, he needs like 5 more minutes to get a good army.
Extended Thermal Lance is, or Extended Thermal Lance, rather, is available this time, though. That means make a pretty significant difference for the Colossus. As there's only 2 at the moment, this is a little bit worrisome. As the 3rd one comes out, this looks a little bit easier to hold, and Impact's actually throwing away a lot of the Hydralisks this time. Again, there was no Vipers for the Abducts. The Hydras and the Logran trying to snipe off the Colossus, but still 2 holding strong. And that range, look at the difference that makes, guys. HasuObs has less units, but he's able to defend much more effectively against what was even more units coming out of Impact, and a lot of that comes down to the Colossus range.
Some of these Void Rays are flipping heroes. I mean, 28 kills, 15 kills, it's almost all Hydralisks, too. The Colossus that went down, I believe, had most of the kills.
You know, it's weird to say, because I'm normally not, I'm like the biggest like anti-corruptor advocate. I hate corruptors, but I think they'd be fantastic here. Because the Void Ray count's too low to really deal with them, and the Hydralisk count is just getting demolished.
It is consistently getting pushed back. But again, Impact still has a huge bank, so while in some other game where he didn't expand, he's only on 4 bases or like 70 drones, it's like, oh, now it's kind of worrying because he can't remax. He's always been able to remax.
Yeah, 11, you know what? It's been so focused around the Colossus, there's no reason to build Immortals at this point. He's seen no reason to do it thus far. And the Void Ray count is actually so low that 4 Void Rays, hell, even 6 Void Rays don't really tear through Colossus that fast unless prismatically aligned. And quite frankly, I think HasuObs is expecting more Roaches, more Hydras, and that's simply not going to be the case. 11 Ultralisks are about to hatch. This is... Whoa, there's finally Pathogen Lens coming out. Woo!
Is it going to be used on the actual engagements? Probably not. He's already maxed out again, so no room for Infestors. Oh, his Ultralisk.
Oh, HasuObs' 3rd base is being retaken right now. These Templar are so nice for the feedback effect, but this... Storm's another thing I would have loved to have seen a long time ago to HasuObs. We got Vengeful Sacks in the way. Honestly, I think if this attack doesn't break him, we'll probably see weird drops followed up. But I think this attack should break him. Even on the ramp, the Ultralisk, there's no force fields that can stop these. They're massive units, they break them. Coming to the top here. Ugh.
That 1 sentry was prepared to force field out some Hydralisk and instead meets some Ultralisk.
Surprise. Lasers going everywhere for HasuObs. I don't know, he's looking pretty good. The Sim City's working against the Ultralisk. The horrible mineral lines. He's not able to get... Wait, he can attack the... What? Can he really reach up that cliff? I guess so. But everything we see is clustered and choked in here. This is so awkward. He's got 1 Ultra's actually doing something effective over here, and it's with 17 health.
And also at the natural, killing all the probes, so...
Oh, I didn't
that's all
catch
it really
one.
took.
Yeah.
An Ultra's to each base.
2 probes remaining. 3, rather. These Adam and Eve right over here.
You can't take down the army. This is probably frustrating. I mean, Impact, he knows he's won this game, but it's got to be frustrating not to kill some of this army. This has been around since the 10-minute mark.
Right? Again, like, if we give HasuObs big props, like, okay, first off, congratulations, Impact. You won the game. Great, big deal. HasuObs has been, again, using the terrain. I've never seen anyone use the terrain to such great effect on any map. But HasuObs does it to hold through like 3 impossible attacks. Last one is a little too much. Score now tied up 2-2 though for Axiom.